Hello, gentle viewers. This is Av Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Oakland A's. In our previous episode, we added some additional talent. Perhaps not a huge amount of it, but I think we can see some definite improvements in how this game goes. Our most important addition was Jerry Strachan. Mr. Strachan was part of a trade with Pittsburgh, and he's already occupying a very important place in our lineup. If he performs the way we think that he'll perform, he's going to give us one of the best outfields in the major leagues. We also have a new shortstop in Juan Galicia. We took him in the Rule 5 last year. Or we took him in the Rule 5, and he's our current starting shortstop. That's only because our good pal Takimoto is injured. Once he recovers, I fully expect Sam Brewer to be off somewhere else. But Sam Brewer is another player that we have and is helping us at the middle infield at the beginning of the season. Dan Whitsett takes over as our full-time DH after a pretty successful rookie season. Now we're going to give him a chance to show that he can be an everyday first baseman. We also have the increasing sense of Chris Orr back. Hopefully going to hit lots of balls into orbit is the hope. Our biggest change in the pitching rotation is the addition of Mr. Clark Granoff. Mr. Granoff was a minor league free agent signing. He hasn't pitched in about a year, but he's an interesting pitcher, and I think could be a nice little starter if it turns out that he is capable of doing such things. And then our bullpen is quite similar to the past. We added Mitch Vaughn. He pitched a little bit for us last year, but he's going to get a bigger role this year. Jeremy Deakins was part of a trade last season. He did pitch a little bit for us a couple seasons, so he's a bit of a new guy. He's a bit of an old hand at this point. If we take a quick look at our full roster, Mr. Bossy here is probably not sticking around. We'll probably move on from him sooner rather than later. Brendan Shapiro was one of our most interesting additions. Mr. Shapiro is a really good offensive catcher that also happens to have a reasonable glove. He was part of a trade involving Wilfredo Rivera, who he decided was not worth the money he was requesting given his injury proneness, which is a shame. He was a big part of our team for a while, but alas, no longer. He will probably take over as full-time catcher at some stage, but I know Joe Stock is the better catcher, and so he's got a pretty reasonable chance, at least for the next year or so, to be the guy. Another addition was Miyoshi Hamamoto, who is a very well-rounded infielder, who also happens to have a bit of a home run bat, so he's a nice little piece that I'm glad that we added. Vigil's going to get another full season after a very successful full campaign. We're going to see if he can build upon that. And then Juan Mijares is another player that we added in a trade with Philadelphia. Somebody who could theoretically replace Sean DeWitt at center field from a defense standpoint and offer a bit of additional speed, some positional flexibility, just a really nice fourth outfielder. At some point, Brandon Bass is going to have to get an opportunity to show that he can play full-time, but at least for now, I'm perfectly content to let him be a situational player. Let me quickly fix all this. Give me just 1 second. Very cold morning. Very cold morning. It's like 38, which is pretty crazy for Texas. Normally by now we're looking at more springtime temperatures, and it was actually really warm last week. So I don't know what's going on, but it's fine. We'll make it through. Probably. That's it. Let's baseball, shall we? Do I think we're gonna make the World Series again this year? It's hard to say. Um, our rotation is really, really good, and our bullpen is really, really deep. It's gonna come down, as it has so many times, to the offense. Um, if we can produce runs at a pretty consistent clip, I think we'll have a really good chance to not only make the playoffs, but get pretty deep into the playoffs. Um, Concerns. I don't really have too many. I mean, obviously losing Sean DeWitt would always be a huge issue. We have a lot riding on Jerry Strachan. I think he's one of the biggest X factors. If he can develop at a fairly high level, I think we've got a really good one. But it's not like we didn't pay anything. And the thing is, all we paid was Juan Rojas, who was never going to start for us. I don't think. You could argue that Rojas is roughly the same skill as Strachan, but Strachan has this extra gap power, which should hopefully make sure that he racks up plenty of doubles to go along with, 10 to 15 home runs a year. Um, yeah. Let's get it going. Let's put the first month of the season, shall we, and see how things go for us. While it's simming, one thing I have decided on, I know I said it's going to take this particular site to make the expansion team. I think when OTP 25 launches, what we'll do instead of that is we will play, is let's start with from 2024, but I'm going to make an expansion team at the beginning of the series. That's what I want to do with it. I just think it makes the game more interesting, and it'll also help people because to go behind the curtain a little bit, the deeper you get into fictional rosters, the more you start to lose people. Because people really want to see how is Shohei Ohtani going to turn out as a Dodger? How's Juan Soto going to deal with being a New York Yankee? Etc. Etc. That's what people want to see. So at least initially, I want to start with a major league start, but then we're gonna make an expansion team and work through all the different things that happen there. So Dusty Flanagan has cleared waivers. I actually wanted to keep Dusty Flanagan, so I'm pretty happy about this. If something happens to Nelson Vigil, Dusty is probably number one on the list, which is going to be good stuff. Let us baseball further. I am going to try. I need to check my schedule. I'm going to try to play Friday night and have a video up that evening. Um, I think that's going to happen. Okay. Juan Galicia. So this is an interesting question. Who do we send down to the minors to make room for Takimoto? Probably Sam Brewer. I'm gonna go ahead and waive him, and if he gets picked, he gets picked. I'm not that annoyed by it, but we're definitely gonna put Takimoto back in. Um, um, agree. Barra just cranked out 3 home runs. I do not know why the game loves him so much. I truly don't. I don't know why his potential is 70 when he's got decent contact and decent power, but he hasn't hit at all in the major leagues. And yes, he's destroying AAA pitching. That's fine, but I don't know. I don't know about him at all. Stoll's gonna be day to day. And Juan Delgado. Well, that's fine. Granoff is gonna be out for a week. The thing is, he can still technically pitch because it only affects his running. So I think we'll leave him in there for now. Who's next man up? If we decide that he can't handle it, I do want a starting pitcher if we can get one. Because the thing is, all my existing starting pitchers are either just too young or they're not well developed. And I don't really like the risk there. Um, I do think Josh Alford has to get an opportunity sooner rather than later, but he might get traded because he's super dumb. But we'll see. I do want to try to add a starting pitcher if we can. I think I'd feel a little better about our chances if we could turn one of our young prospects into a starter. Um, like Dan Downing is fine. I'm not saying he'd be a terrible starter, but I'd like to get a veteran. Um, what do we have left on the free agent market? You're a fantastic relief pitcher. You'd be a huge asset if we could acquire you without paying too much money. What are you looking for? I'm not paying you for this season. Um, no. You can you can go fuck yourself. Wait a minute. This guy is still pitching. Didn't you used to be an Oakland A? You did. Wow. What a career you've had. What an itinerant career you've had. I could see adding him. Yeah, let's do it. In case Granoff doesn't work out. Nobody else here is that interesting. Trading might be the actual path forward, but I think having a 7 game extra base hit streak, nice. You signed the deal. Nice. I have a lot of really good young outfielders in the upper minors, so I do think if we're going to try to acquire starting pitcher, that's where it's going to come from. Um, Ibarra's probably the first guy out, just because I don't think he'll ever be successful in the major leagues. I truly don't think that's going to happen. Oh yes, you're quite right, quite right. You both need to go to AAA. Personal message. Let's see here. Pamphile is getting worse. That's not a great look, but Phil Dixon is actually might end up being a starting pitcher for us potentially. Took's got a tiny bit worse. Vargas is getting better. Um, okay. Yeah, Phil Dixon could be an okay starting pitcher if we needed one. Potentially. I'm not really going to focus too heavily on the overall stats. Like Clark Granoff sucks. Does he do anything well? He goes up walks well. I think Granoff has to be replaced right now. Like he's been such a disaster. I think Granoff goes to the minor leagues, and we probably use Phil Dixon instead. There we go. Let me figure out a couple of these outfields and try to trade to get a starting pitching prospect. I do think John Hack is probably number one on the list. I'm going to turn John Hack and one other outfielder, maybe Ibarra, to try to get a really good starting pitching prospect. Because somebody's going to look at Ibarra's potential and salivate, and I just don't think he'll ever make it. I truly don't. Oh, I guess Ibarra is no longer officially a prospect. I guess he got too much time in the major leagues. That's fair. I want starting pitching, please. The startinger, the better. Really? Really? That's it? Nope. Like, these are not good pitchers. These are okay pitchers. Like, I'm not going to give away. I'm going to remove Hack and just try trading Ibarra and see if that moves the needle at all. No, it makes it worse. Alright, make a trade. Players. I want pitchers. We'll search all leagues for fun. A potential of at least 60. And a starter. Joe Farmer is a nice buy low candidate. He's gonna start throwing harder at some point. He's way too big to be such a soft tosser. He's got a really nice mix of pitches. I could definitely see going for Joe Farmer. 100%. I don't really want to give you Galindo, is the thing. I will give you Seward if you want it. That's completely fine. I'll happily offer you Seward. And then you would really want Galindo. Galindo's one of my rare superpower prospects. I don't want to trade him if I can avoid it. What if I asked for Ibarra? No, Ibarra actually makes it worse. I guess he really likes Steve Seward. What about Hack and McCullough? No, you really want Galindo. I'm not going to give you Galindo, so we will pass on Mr. Farmer here. This may just look, this may just be my demands are too high. Completely fair if that's the case. Um, I'm trying to find a team that has quite a few starting pitchers, which means they'll be more likely to be willing to give up one. I could go for Jim Merrill, but Jim Merrill's going to be a hard sell, I have a feeling. I'm not giving you RJ Edwards. That's fucking funny as shit. Edgar Ibarra is my starting point. I'll add in Steve Seward since all the kids want Steve Seward. Yeah, the problem is, I think the game is just evaluating its pitchers really, really high right now. Which is fair. Like, you're entitled to do that, but unless I take on someone that's got a significant salary, I think that could be possible. I have Josh Bradford, but he's really far away from the major league, so that's not going to happen. Um, Jeff Kurrick would be a pretty good pitcher. He's also a pretty good hitter too. What would it take for me to get Jeff Kurrick from San Francisco? Literally nothing. Yeah, this is a waste of time. Nobody's going to give up a player of that caliber without me parting with a lot that I'm not willing to part with. So, worst case scenario, we move some people around and maybe pick up a veteran come the deadline if we need one. I'm fine to essentially punt on one rotation spot as long as the rest of the rotation performs the way that they should. I think that's fine. Gleason being out for 2 weeks isn't the end of the world. There's actually a good chance for maybe Takimoto or Hamamoto to get a chance to play some shortstop. I will go ahead and call Pineda up. He can fill in if we need to, but yeah, Galindo I think we have to keep. Given how much we struggle to find good power bats, a guy like Galindo is just too important. Chris McManus is going to miss the rest of the season. That's honestly probably the end of his A's career. Like, I don't mean to be a dick, but he's not. Like, he was already pretty close to being on the chopping block. Now he's definitely on the chopping block. Um, Bob Matson has improved significantly. I think he has earned an opportunity to pitch in the major leagues. So you're in, Mr. Matson. Make us proud. All right. Who's presently? Gleese is actually playing well. No, he's actually not playing that well. I'd honestly either rather play Pineda or Hamamoto at shortstop rather than play Galicios. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and send him back to. But I guess I could rehab him for now. Let's start with that. And then maybe move on from him. Braxton would like to come back. I wouldn't object him coming back either. I just can't afford him. Some declines that are a little bit disappointing. Kevin Zwick is getting better. Kevin Brown is getting worse, which I don't love. Um, Interesting. Mr. Sotelo here just instantly turned into a legitimate pitching prospect now, which is really cool. That's very, very cool. Josh Bradford is getting worse. I don't know how I feel about that. Death Valley Maldonado is getting better, though. And as long as he's getting better, all is right with the world. I wonder if there's too much of a glut of good outfielders in the league, and that's why I'm having a hard time moving them for a pitcher. The rotation isn't great this year. It seems like a few of them are really struggling quite badly. Pamphile is getting a lot worse. His walk rate is up a little bit. I don't know what his actual issue is, to be honest with you. I wish we could get rid of him sooner, but we can't. That's the issue. So he is, for better or worse, going to be in there. Braxton May is finally getting the start. I've wanted him to start for the longest time, and now he's finally getting that opportunity, which is good for him. Um, the lineup is doing great. Um, I don't know why we benched Strachan in favor of Brandon Bays, but okay. Laws, DeWitt are both doing great. Witsat is playing at a pretty high level. Takimoto looks great. Joe Stock is forming well. Juan Pineda is hitting 300. I don't know why we're not playing Strachan over Bays. Uh, Strachan has been the better hitter, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, and we'll just see what happens. Hamamoto looks like a bust already, which is disappointing. He looks like he's lost at the plate completely. But he also hasn't played that much, so I'm not going to get too concerned about it. Um, One of our most valuable trade commodities could be Chris Orr. That may be something we consider doing. But for right now, I'm going to let that go. I almost like find the pitching coach is what has to happen. Then again, I mean, like, we've had great pitching performances with him at the helm before. Maybe this is just like an awkward transition period, perhaps? Because the talent's still there. I mean, yes, you could argue that Mike Ellie is probably not a long term starter for us. Understood. But Edwards is still there. Dennis is still there. And they're both outstanding pitchers. So I need a new starting pitcher, but I don't know where we get one. Is the problem? A third really capable starter would I think really set us up for success. I don't know where we find that pitcher though. Is the problem? I get rid of Phil Dixon and call up Jerry Sigmund. I think that's fine. We can add him in there. I need pitching desperately. I'm gonna go ahead and trade you Bar for the best pitcher I can get my hands on. All pitchers, sure. Because a really great reliever could turn out to actually be a pretty good starting pitcher, if given the opportunity. But I don't want to add on a bunch of salary for it either. I meant Alejandro Figueroa. He's not that great. Mm, mm. What if I added Darnell Myricks too? What if, does that move the needle at all? It gives him more options, but none of them are particularly compelling. But I could bring Juan Bardalis back to upgrade the bullpen. That's not a terrible idea, actually. But I can't eat his entire salary. Would you eat part of it? Yeah, let me make you an offer of that caliber and see if that moves the needle for you. No, you're wanting genuinely good players for this. I will reduce the amount of money I am requesting instead. Let's finish today. I'm already giving you two fairly good players. Like, it's not like you're getting garbage. I think you need to back off on your salary demands. Let's do 65%. As he'll only see most of his salary, I will add him to improve our bullpen. Really? Quit trying to get more fucking people out of me. Like, I am giving you something you want already. Like, stop being fucking greedy. No, I am not giving you three prospects for one reliever that I only get for one fucking year. That's stupid. That's comically moronic. No, get fucked. Who's on the trading block actually? Let's take a look at that. Pitchers, please. Wow, fuck off, Brad Armor. I was gonna add you and make you amazing, but if you're just gonna be like that. How expensive are you, Mr. Jawet? You're actually reasonably priced. I think you'd be a nice little addition if we can make that happen. That's what I like to see. See, they're willing to do business, so you can get fucked, nerd. I'm not giving you Strachan for all the money in the universe, but I would give you Steve Seward. I'll give you Ibarra. I'm already giving up on him, so yes, this is fine. Complete trade. Done. And then that's gonna mean probably Jerry Sigmund or Mitch Vaughn. No, it's gonna be Sigmund. There we go. Can I extend him? Or is that just. Oh, okay. He is grouchy. That's fine. It might also just be like a thing that happens, which is fine. But I feel a little bit better about a rotation having added him at the cost somebody I wanted to get rid of anyway. So I'm reasonably happy about that. Uh Booyah. Fucking Sean DeWitt just got 2,000 hits. Nice. I guess because something like Dan Whitsack, like witness security. Um okay, Juan Galicia. I can't have you anymore. I think you're just not good enough for what I'm looking for, so I will return you to your parent team. Thanks, Detroit, for letting us borrow him for a little bit. I'm really sad about Mike Ellie not being an effective pitcher this year. Um, it is what it is, I suppose. When you have a pitcher that just starts walking people and stops striking them out, that's the thing that can happen. That's one way to get more at bats for Strachan. Let's go and put you on the IL. You're gonna be out for 5 weeks, and we'll call up. I think Seward. I think Seward is by far the most polished of my choices here. I don't think he's a good fit. In addition, is Vaughn better? Is Gibson better than Vaughn? He might be, but it's hard to say. It is hard to say. Why are you not on the 60-day IL? And same for you. Give me them 40-man spots back. That gives us more flexibility later on. Okay. Or hitting 25 home runs is rapidly pricing himself out of our nice season. See, RJ Edwards is still getting shit done. That's just what he does. That's just what he does. Max Sheffield is getting a little bit better, which is nice. Blakely's getting a little bit better, which is good. Cool. Let's do a quick prospect check. Do we have? Let's look at Oakland only. Man, I wish I had fucking a guy like Jorge Blances, but I don't. I don't. Um, Yeah, all these guys are way far away from the major leagues, which is the issue. Which is the issue. Yeah, our best prospects are super far away from the major leagues, which is what makes them. The talent we do have is in the low minors. It's not in the high minors. It's in the low minors, and so it's going to take a while for them to like start creeping up to being major league worthy. There's also the fact that everybody sucks in the minor leagues. I can't figure out why this still happens, and it's really frustrating because if you go to Reddit and look it up, like people are like, no, it just doesn't work. What I find especially frustrating though is yes, I get it. If you micromanage the minors, then maybe they turn out better, but I shouldn't have to do that. Lake Travis is closer to Austin than it is San Antonio, I think. Because I think that's where Baker Mayfield played quarterback. Although the bigger issue with Bradford is this his third pitch isn't terribly thrilling. So we're going to have to see if he can manage fairly well. He's not pitching very much either. You know what? I think we have to change the rule again. I don't care if minor league teams win a lot of games. I care that my minor league teams develop talent. That's what matters. Like I don't care how many AAA championships you won. I care how many. Yeah, please base it on potential ratings. I want to make sure the players with the most potential get the most playing time. That seems to be the issue for Bradford. Like he's only got like 30 innings, and that's just not going to be good enough. He won't develop if he doesn't play. So we'll see if that makes any kind of difference here. How are we doing as a team though? Getting better. Dennis is struggling badly, and so is Jouet, but at least our bullpen is improving. So that's not bad, but it's not great either. Our defense is really fucking good, though. Like, really good. Nelson Vittle's having himself a nice little follow up season. Um, I love it. We're getting pretty solid offensive performances up and down the roster, which is a pleasant surprise. Especially since I didn't expect Pineda to even play in the majors this year, but he's actually really performing quite well. Um, so I'm pretty happy about that. Although I don't expect that to last at all. Dan Whitsack getting more playing time has proven to be an excellent idea. Um, Keep in mind for DHs, WAR has a negative component, so you can't look at WAR as the only way to judge a designated hitter. So far, I think he's doing a pretty darn good job. We could promote one of our many outfielders, perhaps, and demote Whitsack, or even trade Whitsack to try to add like another pitching prospect potentially. But I think I just want to kind of stick with this lineup until somebody proves they can't handle it. Sam Laws is a little bit off the pace from last year. Looks like he's not hitting for as much contact, but all the other numbers are right on par. So I'm not concerned about him in the slightest. Steve Seward is now playing as our right fielder, and so far is killing it, which is good. Maybe we do trade Woodsat just to create another opportunity, but I don't want to mess with the chemistry too terribly much. So we'll just kind of see what happens for right now. Let us advance to the draft. I did think that Jerry Strachan would make you happier. Oh, you want me to extend Zarin Dennis? I completely missed that. I apologize. So first things first, I'm gonna keep Larue. He is a World Series winning manager. I think it is worthwhile giving him a new deal. He's earning more money than me, which I found obnoxious, but I guess that's fine. And all the minor league coaches are going to get extensions. Mr. Soto, I'm just going to give you an extension. Like, I'm not even going to hesitate. I know you're an incredibly talented coach, um, and I don't want to lose you. Hichiano is kind of terrible. I think we could do better than him. What about Pedro Martinez? Is this the guy? No, it's a different Pedro Martinez. It is a Pedro Martinez, but he's not the Pedro Martinez. I think he's a decent enough manager that we can keep him around for sure. One extension, Rosario and Dennis. I didn't even notice that. I think I can extend him. Like, that's the problem. I cannot extend him because you won't let me. We have too much money tied up in various things. Um, which is no bueno. Yeah, I don't have the money to extend him. So either you got to give me the money to extend him, or I have to find a way to save money. Um, Pamphile is declining. I wonder if somebody would take him off our hands. If I traded him for literally anything, what would it look like? I'm legitimately getting workable options here. Legitimate workable options here. Okay, let's narrow it down to pitchers because I don't really need hitting help at the moment. Barnabas Young is good fastball slider changeup control movement's not great. It's a definite possibility. This is all about shedding payroll, by the way, but also because Pamphile hasn't pitched at a super high level recently. David Briz, I like this guy a lot. Nice fastball sinker combo. I think Mr. Briz could be the winner. I think he could be the winner. Edgar Merlos is really good too, though. He's really smart, and best of all, he's major league minimum. Okay, Merlos has definitely moved into the driver's seat. Harrington's really good though, but I don't like his control. I think Merlos is the guy. Yeah, let's get Merlos. Done. I'm sorry the fans are sad about that one, but that's we needed to get rid of him. He was too expensive, and yeah, just way too expensive. How bad is the fan interest? It's still 92. Let's not get stupid here. Who is my next best pitcher now? You'd have to go on the 38-man roster. I understand. I'm gonna put you in AAA for right now. And then I think probably Pat Gibson gets promoted. Really, Jouette, you had to get worse? That's what had to happen? Okay. That freed up a lot of salary moving forward. I am not at all sad about making that decision. I'm not gonna keep Brewer or Jouette. I don't care. I think Braxton May is too useful, but I could trade him. I'm gonna talk about that at the deadline. If I can flip May and get decent assets in return, I think I'll do it. But for right now, I'm not going to give him the giant raise that he wants. That's not going to happen. So the question is just going to: are we better off keeping Mays for the rest of the year? Or are we better off flipping him and getting um, a couple of interesting pieces, perhaps? Question to be sure. Let's get our draft on. All players. Not even going to check him out. Okay. So this is unfortunately a bad draft for starting pitching, which I kind of was hoping would happen, and I can't afford Mike Bowman. So I have to hope we can maybe get some value prospects later on in the draft. The very best prospect is Joe McCrory. Mr. McCrory has stuff, movement, and control that's really good. A nice fastball splitter combo with a bit of a changeup. High loyalty and adaptability and low financial ambition. I think McCrory is just flat out a winner. I know he's just a reliever, but I think we could use some high caliber relief prospects. The other term would be Chris Zinsman, just because Zinsman is almost ready for the major leagues. And he's got a nice mix of pitches as well. Fastball slider, but he's also kind of dumb. We might grab him later, but I think McCrory is our first round draft pick, and I'll meet his demand. Plus, it saves us money to maybe grab another player later on in the draft, so we can see how that works out for us. Billy Bradshaw. Is a fairly unremarkable hitter, actually. There's nothing wrong with him, but I don't think he's that good a player. If we sort by batting potential, look for contact. Bradshaw is the best all around hitter. Dave Etienne is a really good second base prospect. However, he doesn't have very much power or plate discipline, which means he's going to basically be an all or nothing kind of player. I need to step away from players like that, unless they're really good defensively, which Mater is not either. Jim Price. I like Price better than Bradshaw. Let's get Jim Price. And I will offer him the slot value. Alright, let's switch to default view, and I want to try to get another couple of pitching prospects if I can manage it. Or at least interesting position players. Darren Runkle keeps falling. He's got good movement and stuff and control. A very nice mix of pitches. Decent velocity for a left-hander. I have money. I think Mr. Runkle would be a very fine addition to our club, and I will meet his demand. That feels good. I will absolutely pay over slot to grab him. Kevin French. Plenty of velocity, movement and control, a good mix of pitches. He's only faced terrible competition though. On the other hand, he is 21, which means he should develop relatively quickly. That's Kevin French. Rob Cornish. Doesn't throw quite as hard, but good work ethic and loyalty. Um, Good mix of pitches. Low financial ambition, always valuable. Potentially a choice there. I don't think Pete Knox is a good fit. Pete Knox is the first one of these guys I'm actively rejecting. So it comes down to French or Cornish. Because French throws harder, I think he's got a higher upside. And he is closer to being major league ready. I think we go ahead and take him. And if Cornish falls to the next round, we grab Cornish. But I think French is the better choice. Just because he's older, which means he should be able to get through. And what it said, you wanted the slot, not saying you want $3 million. I will draft you and then negotiate with you after that. That's what we get both. Alas, we are not so fortunate. I do not want Dave Etienne. I'm not able to afford that. My apologies. Jim Sheets is uninteresting. Eh, meh. We've already reached a part of the draft where the players are just not that interesting. Um, did they break the mold when they made Vince? Maybe. Let's go ahead and take him. This is purely a way to help with the demands of other players. Okay. Targeting people who will sign for free. That's what I was looking for. Terrell Gurley, I will happily draft you and pay you $0. That seems reasonable. Let us now evaluate the pitching ratings of those who are still available. Who's got the good stuff? All the pitching prospects at this point are now seriously flawed. The pitchers at this point, quite frankly, all suck. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at pitching potential, not pitching ratings. Here we go. Jeff Murillo is the better choice because he does throw a little bit harder. Done. Batting potential. Chris Edson is a legitimately interesting hitter. And I know he's not an amazing power guy, but I think Mr. Edson here is exactly the kind of player that I'd like to add. Done. He's a nice little late round prospect. Um, any really good defenders that are hitters? I will happily take Mike Fletcher because of his elite defensive capabilities. I think he's a fantastic choice. Done. Okay. And then any raw power left in the draft, like really, really good power, let's draft Chris Jensen. And then that'll be the final round. And we'll let my scouting director pick the rest of it. And then we're going to negotiate. He does want his 3 million. I think we have Kevin French. Yes, I will give him his signing bonus. I think that's fine. All right, All-Star Game announcements. R.J. Edwards, Rusty Bossy, both make it. Ken Armstrong is an All-Star for Minnesota, but we also have Joe Stock as our own All-Star. Sean DeWitt's All-Star streak continues, and that's it. I'm a little surprised we don't have at least one more All-Star, but I guess I kind of get it. Also, the fact how many bullpen guys came out of my system and are now, yeah, making All-Star teams and shit. That's funny. Interesting. Takimoto didn't make the All-Star team. Is he like really struggling this year, or is it just a matter of other? Maybe. Like, how are we doing offensively this year? Nelson Mitchell is worth 3 wins this year. Takimoto's worth 2. I don't know how either one of them didn't make it. I mean, third base is really stacked this year. I guess he could have bumped Jesus Jaquez. But Takimoto should have made it over Montez. Unless, no, it's not even Detroit's only player. I think I should have at least two more All Stars personally. But I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna cry about it because Sean DeWitt's streak remains intact, and that's of vital importance to me. How many All Star appearances does he have at this point? It's got to be more than 10. It is, in fact, exactly 10. He's a good player, in other words. I'd love for him to get that MVP, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think his days of potential winning an MVP have already passed. So Josh Bradford makes the all prospect team, but that's it. Just Josh. Just him. So the number one concern come trade deadline days, what do you do with Braxton May? Oh, you would give me the Gene Santorelli. Oh, it's already gone. Don't tantalize me with adding an amazing new player. I am not opposed to John Harrington, but I don't think he offers very much. So I will decline your generous offer. I don't hate adding Terrell Void. Um, Negretti is very far away from the major leagues and is unlikely to hurt us. And Serge Bolvin is just a non-prospect. Who is my current worst reliever? Actually, Jouet is my worst pitcher. I need to find something to do with him. Chris Allen just got traded. Okay. Is there a better starting pitcher, I wonder? That is something I could definitely use. Um, Let me go ahead and offer Brexton May up on the market for the moment. I'm looking for pitching, but I don't want veterans. I want regulars or prospects. I want long-term flexibility. I can basically get the reliever of my choice. If I want starting pitching, I'd have to pay for it. Jalen Savio. Uh, Jalen Savio is actually a pretty good pitcher, though. He's actually really good. He's really smart. I think he's the right call. I'm gonna at least look. I think there's at least one starting pitcher to 55 to see if he's any better. But I think that's gonna be the likely move. No, those reliever those 55. Okay. Yeah, let's get Savio. I wonder if you'd throw in another prospect if I asked nicely, though. Probably not, but I can ask. I am permitted to ask. I would happily accept Luis Cardoza if you're willing to offer him. I think this is probably fine. Unless we get Mike Downing. Actually, I'd really like to get Mike Downing if we could. I will drop Cardoza. No, you're asking for pitching prospects in return, and that is something I'm not willing to part with right now. I would offer you John Hack. I like Chooks, but I don't like him more than getting two decent pitching. Jerry Colker. I'm trying to get your asking price to drop, and right now it's not doing that. And I can't give you Sierra, I don't think. Actually, I could give you Sierra. If I give you Sierra, and then drop, say, Hack and Colker. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. The thing is, I need upper level pitching prospects. I don't have the luxury of saying no to this trade. Done. And Downing is not terrible, but I think Savio gets to make the roster, and Downing goes too. I'll put you on the 38-man roster, but I think I'm going to send you to AAA for the moment, and we'll see how that works out for us. Getting Sierra out of me, low key, is a little bit frustrating because I do think he's got a reasonable future. But he's also super far away from the major leagues, and you have to trade something in order to get a valuable piece like a good starting pitcher potentially. I am not giving up Bob. This is just a stupid fucking trade. What if you took your really good young reliever and gave him to me for nothing? That's fucking stupid. Don't insult me. Okay, that's yeah. Don't do that shit. Even if I had $8 million, I wouldn't give it to you. You're the fucking Mets. Figure it out. Projected. Caleb Witt isn't that interesting a pitcher, but I don't think Josh Alford has much of a future with this team. I think I'm a little good in catching this week in catching, so maybe. Okay, we get Brandon Bays back, which is actually really good. I think Stewart's been crushing it though, hasn't he? Yeah, Stewart's actually playing fairly well. Um, has Jerry Strachan ever played in AAA? No, but he's actually playing really well to major league level, so sending him to the mark doesn't make a ton of sense. I will send down because Bays can play center field. I'm going to send down Mijares, and we will bring Bays back to play some Bays ball. You loved it. You know you loved it. Oof, poor Steve Morgan. Let us take a look at the trade deadline. What am I looking for? I wouldn't mind upgrading the bullpen. If I could get a pitcher that's 65 or above, that would really help with the bullpen. Uh, wait, who do we take out of the rotation? Mike Ellie. I am not opposed to this. If Mike Ellie is a good reliever, I think it makes sense to take him out. Who's closing right now? It's Rogelio Morales. Not my first choice, but as long as he's pitching well, I guess I'm not too annoyed by it. But I am concerned about his love of walks, but whatever. Let's start the day. Let's see what we got here. Frank Molina is not interesting, and neither is Copland. I'm going to reject both of these trades. Rejected. Fiddlesticks. Um, Brett Armor is too much money, I think. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Warren, meh. I don't need a third baseman. I could see adding David Guardado. If Mr. Guardado is available for a reasonable price, I could potentially make this happen. Yes, I will give you Vanderweel. This is just a genuine good trade. Um, and then Pat Gibson can go to the minors, and Mr. Guardado can have a role there. Is there anybody else here that moves the needle? Why the fuck is Toronto trying to trade Juan Rivera? I mean, it's expensive as shit. I guess that makes sense. But that seems excessive. But if I can get him without trading too terribly much, I might consider it. But I'm not giving you a legitimately good prospect for him. That is not happening. What if I offered you Darnell Myrick? It's not worth it. It's not worth selling my future just for one more shot at greatness. That's not a good. That's not a good value. Now for Bardales, you don't want very much because you know he's going to be a free agent. I can work with that. Danny Adams is never going to be a great player, so we're going to go ahead and make this trade. Done. We're going to bring him back for the stretch run. And this is going to send Mitch Vaughn to the minors. No, not Mitch Vaughn. Who is the worst reliever at this moment? Mike Ellie doesn't count. Probably Portner, if Mr. Portner will take a demotion, which he will. There we go. I don't want to know. The thing I want to note is that I'm glad that he's back, but I'm not going to be able to afford that, I don't think. Would you take $4 million for the team? Yeah, you're not really moving down. Yeah, he's not really budging. But I give him his arbitration estimate, and that's it. Here we go. What about that? No. Now you're salty, so I'll worry about you later. Yeah, I don't want that shit. Um, I think I've got what I wanted. Um, let's go ahead and end the trade deadline. Well, as I could take somebody who's we're gonna lose anyway and get decent money for him. Maybe, but not very likely. Do I pull the trigger on Chris or now? Because Saladerman's really going to get more and more unreasonable, especially as it turns out to be pretty good at what he's booked to do, which is hit home runs, and draw walks. Or is he the kind of guy that we actually try to lock up long term somehow? I don't know the answer to that. We can trade him in the off season. That seems reasonable. Dusty Flanagan wants a contract extension. I'm not going to give him one, though. That's a waste of money. It's a huge waste of money. What if I traded Joe's stock, whose stock will never be higher than it is right now? That actually makes a lot of sense. And then we can call up Alford to be the backup catcher because he wants a lot of money, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and trade Joe's stock. All players, who you got for me? Oh, sorry, only prospects. I don't want to add any salary. Ben Sutphin is a pretty nice return. Let's go for him. And maybe see if there's another prospect you might be willing to cough up. Like, I'm not going to sit down with any of these top three. Like, I already know it's not going to happen. Just for the lulls. No, okay. I had to try. I had to try. Okay, Joey Vodnais would be an amazing addition to the club. I will actually part with something decent for that if I can make it happen. Um, let's add Myrix and Tukes. Sorry, Vodnais, to be clear, is a starting shortstop right now that is significantly better than what we've got. Significantly better. What if I just gave you Tukes? No, this is perfect. Done. Yeah, Pineda, fuck off to the minors. We'll never see you again, probably. Where's the new guy? Where's Mr. Vadnais? Where did you put my beautiful boy? He's going right to the major leagues. Yeah, you're going directly to the major leagues. You're a really good shortstop. You actually have a talented. Yeah, you're just a really good player. I'm really happy to have you. I wasn't even looking to upgrade shortstop, but I'm happy that we did. And I do need to replace. I need a pitcher. I think I have. No, I have 13 pitchers. I need a catcher. That's right. And this is where Josh Alford gets to get some major league time for now. That was good. That might be one of my favorite trades that I've made because we just got better. At a position I did not expect to get better at. I genuinely thought I did not come into that trade deadline with the hoping of upgrading a shortstop, but we definitely did. San Francisco's too stupid to give this guy a chance in the majors. That's on them. But we have a really good shortstop now, who's also competent offensively, which isn't an easy thing to find. So we're playing Bays every day in right field. That's probably a mistake, but okay. Um, I think the game is getting obsessed with Bays' power when I really think what we need is Strachan's consistency. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make you play Strachan every day. Strachan is a really good all-around outfielder. He needs to be playing every single day. Set game strategy, force him at right field. You're gonna play him at right field, and if you want to play Bays that badly, you can bench Witset, but you're not taking him. Yeah, Bays is a really good reserve outfielder that is stretched horribly. If yeah, this is the way. This is the correct lineup. Um, Yeah, that's what it should look like. Done. Are there veteran catchers to be had? Is my question. A veteran catcher would not go amiss if we could find a decent one that could just act as like a really talented backup. A really good defensive catch, essentially what I'm looking for. There's Yogi DePriest. That's one of the catchers of all time for sure. Mike Voss is a terrible catcher. Chad Nichols is exactly what I'm looking for. Oh, Mr. Nichols, what is it going to take for me to acquire you? Virtually nothing. My favorite kind of trade. And this way, Alford still has a spot, but I have a really good defensive backup because Shapiro's not that great defensively. This, I think, is the way. This is the way. And of course, you instantly bench Shapiro for Nichols, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having a little bit more veteran reliability as a catcher. Because I needed Vad Nice. Vad Nice, I think, is a really good deadline deal that's going to help us not just this year, but for years to come. So I am proper chuffed about that one. We're just going to go ahead and finish the trade deadline. I got what I wanted to. I am a happy clam, a happy sausage. Mills is going to cost us so much money. If it's between or and Vigil, or it can get fucked. Like, that's not even a debate for me. Not even a small debate. RJ Edwards, you're not allowed to get worse. I thought we talked about that. You have to keep getting better and better exponentially until you're the greatest player that ever played baseball. That's all I expect from you. Have fun. Jerry Strachan is way too good not to be playing every day. Point blank. Um, Fiorello Sotelo is really improving the starting pitching prospect, which I love to see. Sheffield is getting slightly worse, which is worrying. It is a concern. Chris Beers is getting better. Robbie Lehman is getting better. David Coca is getting better. Very good. Very, very good. What did I traded Tooks. This could be one we end up regretting. It could be. I don't think so, but it's very clear that Tooks is ready for a major league role that I just couldn't give him. But I desperately needed. It was just a unique opportunity, and I'm not going to even for a split second um begrudge adding a premium player to premium position for a very reasonable cost. Um, a good defensive shortstop that can get on base regularly is so valuable that yeah, I'm very pleased about that deadline. I love how every time I play OTP, I always tell people don't invest too much in the bullpen because it's really flaky. And then I gave Pamphila that giant contract that just bit me on the ass almost instantly. So no more longer than 3 year contracts for relievers, unless I can pull like a Brexton May kind of thing where I get him to sign for like 5 million a year for like 7 years. That ended up being really, really good. Really, really good. Varnais is getting even better. Love it. Witsat's getting a little bit worse. Strachan's getting better. Seward is better. Man, Sotelo has really turned into a premium prospect almost overnight. And that's really cool because, yeah, he's pitching really, really effectively. And that's excellent to see. Alfred's getting slightly better. Um, Amari Broaden's getting better. Mike Richards is trying to make himself into a real dude. Respect. David Morales added a sinker. That's lovely. And he's one of these rare guys that I just happened to grab off the street, but he's turning into a potential really good story. Let's shortlist him. I want to learn more about Mr. Morales' journey in Major League Baseball. If he makes it that far, which maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. 5 hits for Vigil. Nice. I get what, 2 spots, right? No, I get a lot more than 2 spots. Is there anyone in particular I'd like to give more time to? I think Gibson and Portner for sure. And Mike Downing. And Mr. Sotelo is an interesting enough prospect now. He has to get a 38-man roster spot while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I will forget about it. And we won't have him to kick around anymore. Jouet just sucks. This is really unfortunate. I don't give him much for him, so I'm not like gonna cry myself to sleep or anything. But he hasn't been a very good pitcher. It is what it is. That seems good. That seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and advance. I could call up Alford as a third catcher, but I think we're good with what we got. Let's go ahead and carry on through the month of September. That sucks. That is terrible timing for Bobby Stoll to injure his forearm. Because now we don't have him for the postseason. That is unfortunate. That is awful timing. Awful, awful timing. Mats are missing 2 weeks. Isn't that big a deal? Bardalis, I think, just blew out his arm because we decided to make him a starter for some stupid reason. Yeah. So that trade ended up being a bust. Let's get more pitchers upgraded. Do we just fucking throw Sotelo in the deep end? I don't think we do. That seems like a really dumb idea. I will go and activate Sutphin though. He can pitch a bit as a treat. This might be one of the best overall lineups we've happened to have as an A's franchise. I definitely want to take a look at our runs scored recently, but I think this one's going to be close to the top among our all time offenses. We've already clinched a division. I don't know whether we'll get the first round bye though. That's going to depend. We're still fighting for that essentially. If we keep the pedal to the metal, I think we've got a really good chance to lock in a thing. Yumin Lin got worse, but he never actually pitched for me, so that's not that big a deal. A couple people got better, a couple people got worse. Tim Gaffney got better, Chris Edson got better, Mike Fancher got better, Rally Bulldog. Yeah, I'm not bringing you back. Maybe as a reliever, but definitely not as a starter. Even for like $1, it seems excessive. No, thank you. How close are we? So let's take a look at the standings right now. Let's look at the pennant chase. It's actually even better. So we have 6 away games to end the season. And we're 2 games ahead of the Yankees, 1 game behind the Tigers. The Yankees are playing some really bad teams. As are the Tigers. I don't think we're getting a bye, but we can always push the pedal to the metal and hope that good things happen to us. Have we locked up one of the top seeds? We have 100 wins. Tigers have 101 wins. Oh yeah, the Yankees are fucked. We secured. Really, you had to injure him. Game. Lame. I'm not gonna mess with the playoff roster yet. Because I'm not even in the first round. Because I definitely got a bye. So we're just gonna zippity dude on to the next round, and then we will check our playoff roster. Okay. So who are we leaving off the playoff roster? So far, I agree with all the decisions being made. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Sounds good. All right, RJ Edwards. I'm gonna need a great performance out of you because the rest of my starting rotation kind of blows right now. Thank you. Also, Taki fucking Moto cranking 2 home runs. Very helpful. Very good. Decided to retire. You know what? He's had a remarkable career. As an itinerant pitcher with over 3,000 innings, he's got an off chance at the Hall of Fame. Purely as a compiler. I'd vote for him. Maybe. Nice work, Dennis. Not a great outing, but a good enough outing, and that's fine. We have a really deep bullpen, so if we can get it to the bullpen in good shape, I think we'll have a very competitive series. Um, nope. Oh, what a tight game. Damn. Damn. Savio had a really good game. But Morales just got beat. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. People getting promoted. You'd love to see it. There we go. That was raw, unadulterated offense. And of course, who's the hero of the game? It's Sean DeWitt. Was there ever any doubt? With a home run and a triple. That's how we do it, guys. That's how we do it. Good shit. Very good shit. I love it. Let's go on to the next round. See if we're gonna face the Tigers or the Orioles. Interesting. The Orioles took down the Tigers. That's really cool. I was terrified of facing the Tigers this year, but they fucked up. So poor Rivera got hurt again. Poor guy. RJ Edwards just flat out says no. Bad players. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's reasonable. Um, yeah. Yeah. But RJ Edwards locks it down. Of course he does. He's just like, what if we just don't let the other team score? That seems like a good way to play baseball. I agree, Mr. Edwards. I agree. Oh shit, they tore apart Dennis. That's awful. That's really bad. I was really hoping that Dennis would be. This is tough. Savio, I can't look. I can't look. Come on, Savio. Tell me you did it. Did you do it? You did it! Yes! Oh my god. So clutch. So freaking clutch. Morales needs to stop fucking up. It seems like every time like he gets a chance to throw the baseball, he screws us up. But it's fine. We made it. We're back in the World Series for the second year in a row. That's awesome. Oh my stars. I did not think we were going to be successful there. We have our 1-2 punch is the best in the league, in my opinion. But it gets real dicey from there. It gets real dicey. It's the Marlins versus the A's. This is one of the great all-time postseasons, in my opinion. I think he's always been a good postseason pitcher, but let's bask in his postseason glory so far. This has been amazing. These past two seasons, he's just been phenomenal in the postseason when it really matters. Josh Gillette had himself a game, as did Nelson Vigil. That was an offensive bludgeoning, which made it easier for our pitcher there. Dennis pitches a very effective game. And Kerblamo, how sweep it is. We did it. Another World Series crown for the Oakland A's. See, John Fisher, see what fucking happens if you're not a giant asshole? Uh, Sean DeWitt might get his MVP this year after all. Probably not. I think it's going to be Sam Massey just because he's that much better than DeWitt. But it's going to be close. All right. I can't. I cannot opt out of this deal. We have to give it to him. Execute option. I have to. I must. It is mandatory. We got to get a new hitting coach. That's fine. We can mess with that next episode, but I cannot give up on Sean DeWitt now. I cannot. Net after he just busted out at the age of 37 a 6-win season. He's so good. He's so good. Takimoto had a bit of a sophomore slump. Part of which but I think most of the sophomore slump is just the fact he got hurt. Overall, I'm still very, very pleased with him, and he's still getting better every day, which is great. Nelson Vigil was clutch in the postseason, but is just a really amazing player. He's going to cost you a lot of money, but I think he's worth it. Jerry Strachan should win Rookie of the Year, I think. He had an amazing season. He's given us a third horseman to our amazing outfield. I love it. Sam Loss is now comically overpaid. For what he provided this season, he got paid a lot of money. He probably should not have been paid. I'm going to say this is just a bit of a down year, but it is concerning to me. It is concerning to me. What the fuck? Oh, we're looking at postseason. There you go. Yeah. Mm. Mm. If Chris Orr could cut down on the strikeouts just a little bit, I think he'd be a potential MVP candidate. He's probably the player I'm most likely going to have to move on from. We'll definitely think about it and talk about it next episode, but it is something I'm painfully aware of. Dan Whitsett had a pretty solid season. Not a perfect one, but a solid one. Steve Seward, I think, is going to have to get a role on this team next year. I don't know what that role is yet, but it's got to be a role. Um, just Mild, please. He's a perfectly fine shortstop. I think he just maybe needs a bit more time to figure out how to hit. But I'm actually happy with this, and I'm willing to go back to him next year to see what he can manage. We had a really good bench this year between Bays and Seward. Love that for us. Pitching. Zari and Dennis had a really good season. Which I think is easy to overlook because his ERA was kind of high, but he got the job done. I don't think he's a great decision to sign like for years and years and years, but I do think he's a pretty good starting pitcher. My biggest concern, by the way, is this: he's a soft tossing lefty, which means he's not going to age super well, but we'll see. Savio turned out to be a pretty nice addition at the trade, right up about the trade deadline. He actually pitched pretty effectively for us down the stretch, which I appreciate. We got a lot of good performances from the bullpen, though. My lord, did the bullpen keep shit going? Um, where is Jouette? He had he was basically slightly below replacement level, mostly because of what he did in Texas. Pat Gibson did really poorly, but that's okay. Yeah. This was a classic year where we had a lot of great performances from a lot of different bullpen guys. But I want to check and see something here. Look at team history. We had an average of 258. No, we've definitely had better offensive franchises like around here. I think if we look at team stats, history index, I want registers. I think. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Why are we like stuck? What? That's really funny. I literally cannot scroll down. Here we go. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The 13th best offense of all time for the Oakland A's. That's really good. This is a really deep and good offense this year. But by homers, we've definitely had a team with more homers, but it was only by one, which was 2037. Let's quickly look at the team index. I guess the question is, do we count as a dynasty at this point? We have a streak right now, 2033 24/7 is 15 consecutive seasons of postseason appearances, 4 of which you won the World Series. I guess the question is, do we count as a dynasty at that point? Because of the longevity. I think we do. I genuinely think that we do. Especially if we can turn around and win it again next season, which would be bonkers. It would be extremely bonkers. But I think we're a dynasty already. Like if we can call the Atlanta Braves of the '90s a dynasty, winning one World Series in a decade. In a decade we've won three. That seems pretty good. And we've made the postseason every year, just like the Braves did. Now, if you're like, no, the Atlanta Braves of the '90s aren't a dynasty because they only won one World Series, that's fair. Um, the Yankees, the '90s Yankees, I want to say won 4 World Series because I think they won '96 to 2000. Let's quickly look at the Yankees just to confirm my memory. I can't remember whether they won 3 in a row or 4 in a row. They won 3 in a row. Oh, '97 they didn't win. I knew that. Because, oh yeah, Cleveland kicked their asses out of the postseason. Suck it, Yankees. Um, but the Yankees are unquestionably a dynasty. I don't think anyone would dispute that. Um, but I think the A's are too. I think the A's are too. I think it becomes a definite dynasty if and when we win the World Series next year. If we do win the World Series next year, I think it's going to be really, really good. And we did it without Bobby Stoll. I think we'd have coasted in the postseason had Bobby Stoll recovered, but alas, we were not so fortunate. Oh, this is a really good season, guys. Really, really good. Really good. Stop showing me the Yankees now, please. Fuck the Yankees. I have $99 million in budget space. Fuck you. I have negative $8 million in budget space. Oh, but it's worth it. I had to keep DeWitt. I had to. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sign him to play deep into his 40s, but. Excuse me. But yeah. Oh, what a season. It's going to get real expensive real fast, though, is the big problem. Guys like Orr, Vigil, we sort by 2048 salaries here. That's a lot of people wanting new extensions for a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Oh, we're gonna have to think long and hard about that one. A Chris McManus is easy. We're just gonna non-tender him and save $2 million that way. But we're gonna have to really think long and hard what we want to do with these other players. We try to save some money potentially. Um, I should have kept Laws. I think that was a mistake, especially given how many outfielders I have in my system. I think keeping DeWitt, or not DeWitt, keeping Laws was a mistake. Especially given the amount of money he wanted. I hope he opts out in 2049. That's what I'm hoping for right now. So we're hoping he has a nice bounce back year or two, but I don't see him sticking around us for very much longer. I mean, if he'd produced another 6 WAR season, even then I think it still would have been a mistake. But I think I got bamboozled by his incredible 2046. Yeah. We have a really good young infield, though. Really good. We did Takimoto, Vigil, and now Valdice. Vadnais, something. If I offered you a stupidly long contract, would you take it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this to basically league minimum. Because then you can't get mad at me. There you go. Would you take that deal? Really? He's literally going to make that much money anyway. Okay. Well, fuck you then. Who's our next great sign young player? That I don't know the answer to. Hmm. Anyways, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, comment down below. Um, Let me know who your favorite A has been so far, besides obviously Sean DeWitt, who is amazing. Mr. DeWitt, by the way, is gonna hit 1,000 walks next season, and he's gonna hit 500 home runs in the next season or two, because he's just 59 home runs shy, and he's always hit at least 30 home runs a season. So he's getting to the point where his Hall of Fame candidacy almost seems to be inevitable. Um, Excuse me again. Yeah, he's getting there. He is getting there. What a great player. What an amazing Oakland day. 75 wins has to be quite near the top of the all-time leaderboard for hitters, right? It has to be. Yeah, he is currently the greatest Oakland A in Major League Baseball history. That's it. There's no disputing it. Well, I mean, yeah, you go back to Jimmy Fox, sure, but yeah, he is the best player in the history of the Oakland A's. Who the fuck is Pete Suter? Oh, he played a long ass time. Oh, he played for the Philadelphia A's. That's why I never heard of him before. Okay. He could break. He's gonna break Ricky Henderson's runs record with the Oakland A's. He's already tops for hits, tops for total bases, third in singles, first in doubles. Nowhere near the top in the triples. First in home runs as an Oakland Day. First in ribbies. Fifth in stolen bases. Hasn't even been caught 100 times yet. Third in walks. Mm. He's an amazing player. An absolutely breathtakingly amazing player. It's not holding over single season records, I don't think. Maybe he does. Remember Chris Hughes' random MVP season? That was wild. Is he retired now? He is retired now. Okay. Mm. No single season records, I guess, for Mr. DeWitt. It's fine. All right, friends. Thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying the series, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below about your favorite Oakland A and why Sean DeWitt deserves a statue outside Oakland A Stadium. Until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.